Here we go. Good morning. This is Emily Craig, and it is what 9:35 on Wednesday, the 4th of March, 2020. And I keep bumping into the same problem over and over again, and I bet you've been bumping into it too. And that's that there are so many of the people we know and love who want to stay with what they know. They don't want to venture out into hearing a new problem, into hearing another perspective. They want to tell you that their way of thinking is good enough for them. Now, if you take it discipline by discipline, we find out that we in America have a country that is stuck in many respects. The church, although the church admits and acknowledges that there's higher intelligence in the universe, they've got this one book mentality that leaves out a half a dozen other books on the same topic with the same plot and the same characters. This being one of them, and Voyagers 2 being another, and the Oahspe being another, and the Book of Enoch being another, and the Sumerian cuneiform tablets being another source. There are more sources than just one book, the Bible. Now, I will say to you, the Bible is a good summary, and it has what we need in it to practice, that is, to follow the law commandments, and there are 254 of them, not 10, and adopt the Beatitudes of the Son of God, Jesus Christ. And when you do that, your life works out in the long run, maybe not so good in the short run. Okay, so much for religion. And then there's science. Scientific thinking took its present form in the Enlightenment around 14th, 15th century, all right, in which discourse and chronological order and analysis and telling the perspective and telling the history over and over according to this and that account became the predominant method for inferring behavior, rather than remaining with the method we now call phenomenology, which is to say, immediately looking at the outcome and the effects and the results of a behavior and deciding at that moment whether that behavior is appropriate or not, and making a journal record of what is appropriate and what is not appropriate, and keeping our behavior up to date with learning. We have not kept our behavior up to date with learning. We have not kept science up to date with learning. The cameras, the backyard telescopes that take pictures of the moon every month, okay, show a different reality than the text that NASA carefully prepares in their publicity statements, okay? NASA is not keeping up with what the people know about the moon, about the distance, about the sun, about its distance, about geography and the shape of the horizon and how much curvature should be showing. All these things, science has not kept up with the facts of the matter. In politics, it has largely been the same problem. The party system keeps dialogue embroiled in the same, they said, divide and conquer methodology, when in fact there are a whole series of problems and methods that need to be addressed in order to actually fix anything. But people would rather spout conventional dogma than actually learn how to fix a problem. Now, I spent 5 years as a mechanic, and I know how to I know how to set up a cable system or a chain link system or time a paper tray. I had to learn mechanics and the laws of cause and effect. But the laws of cause and effect are not what is in operation in our media today. What's in effect is this set of opinions versus that set of opinions, back and forth, providing a tennis court play of beliefs, okay, that have nothing to do with solving a problem. We have scientific, empirical methods for solving social problems that I studied at university back in the early 90s that are no longer in use. What the university system has adopted is Marxism 1A to replace the interactive management and cognitive problem solving of John and Warfield. Okay, this does not make sense. All right. In the field of medicine, what we have is conventional treatments. All right. You show up at the emergency room and they give you a series of tests. It doesn't matter what you present with, they give you the same series of tests. And then they charge you for all the tests that they performed on you, whether you needed them or not. This is conventionalism gone to seed. And it's very expensive, very, very expensive. The economy seems to operate pretty much the same way. Logistics has to be a little faster on its feet than the mainstream media. But our children in school are not learning the skills they need to get through the day. They're not learning thrift. They don't have a good vocabulary. They don't know how to speak well, okay? They can't make change. A lot of them have problems reading an ordinary analog clock, all right? Our children are being taught conventions. They need to be taught problem-solving methods. This is why we are struggling with even the idea that learning is necessary. The learning our children get is learning specific video games, learning specific readings that are classical and conventional, learning specific conventional norms coming from the left-wing propaganda arm of academia. This is not helping our children solve problems, or families solve problems, or communities solve problems. I can see and notice and recognize that there are more than two genders, okay? And according to ancient and indigenous tribes, there are 5 genders, not 2. There's the alpha male, the beta male, the intersex, the alpha female, and the beta female. There's also, and probably a few other variations too. But the way the dialogue has taken shape with a us versus them mentality, and the demand for rights in view of the necessity that family bloodlines and communities be allowed to remain intact and safe, the methods of presenting information to the public make learning very difficult, let's put it that way. And so let us begin to question our methods. Let's begin to question what is conventional, because a conventional wisdom isn't working very well right now. Okay? And the oddballs and the heretics and the people who question everything need to be listened to with a little more courtesy, just a little more courtesy. So that is my missive for this morning, Wednesday. And later on, I'll be doing an interview with Radioactive in Jerusalem, Israel, where they have their problems with solving problems because Israel is only 40% Jewish. It's 80% Ashkenazi, not Semitic. and they operate a parliamentary democracy, not a theocratic monarchy. So they have their problems with identity and problem solving also, but our nation has been funding them to muddle through their problems. And that's how it goes. Hey, have a good Wednesday. It's spring is coming, all the blossoms are blossoming. And thank you for coming by and showing any interest in this old lady. Bye-bye.